Good day. Nice to see you today, and I hope all is well as you move toward the Christmas season. We have one more Sunday before Christmas, and we are going to have a virtual Christmas Eve service, and we hope that you'll join us with that after the normal Sunday morning service. Then Dorothy will send out a link to the Christmas Eve service, and so we hope that you'll join us with that. We have, I think, our whole board and families will participate in that. You can't, but we'll do it virtually, and I hope you enjoy it. Today, I want to do two things. I want to think about the passage in Isaiah that is often read at Christmas time in plays and presentations about Christmas. And I want to sort of give a different slant to it today. And I also want to introduce you to the website. And I want to do that now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize myself and bring up a real shot of my web browser, and we'll just walk through it. So if you open up your web browser and you go up to the URL window and type in uh, uh, htcfsurprise.org, not .com, but .org, and then hit return, and that will take you then to our new website. And so that's what I'm doing. I just typed htcfsurprise.org into the URL in my web browser, and there I am at the website. It's a great website. One of the advantages is wherever you go on the website, if you click on our logo, the Heart of Thorns, the Faith, Hope, Love, HTCF, it will bring you back to this home page. We have a welcome menu, which sort of introduces the whole concept of the fellowship. We have Connect, introduces you to our staff, our board members, the different ministries we have available, and email lists and so on. We have a resource menu that contains our member directory, and you won't be able to access that until you have a username and password and sign up as a group member to kind of protect the privacy of those in our directory. And you can click on the photo galleries. There'll be even some photos already of the cantata, and those are ready to be looked at. You can make prayer requests on this community site. You can look at the blogs where Pastor Mac and Tom give their presentations. There's a giving link. You can scroll down. I don't do it here, but you can scroll down on the website and access the past sermons. You can access the live stream. There's just a lot that you can do here on the website, and it's there for you. So remember that you type in htcfsurprise.org. Officially, it'll be online the first week of January, but it's alive now. You can go and explore and just look around and have a good time there. And we want to thank Preston Bruxfort for the hours that he spent just working on this. It's been a labor of love. I'm sure at times it was a labor of not so much love, but he has persevered. And the calendar that's on the website, you'll notice, doesn't have any entries in it. And that's because we are connecting that to a different Google service that we've become part of. It's a special service without charge to nonprofits, and so we'll be connecting the calendar there to the website calendar, and that hasn't quite come online yet, but that's to come. So all that to say is that you can tell we are gradually moving away from our faith life uh, capabilities, and we as a fellowship, as a church, worked very, very hard, I think, to commit to the Faith Life tools and the things that they offered. And we, over the, especially after the coronavirus hit, we discovered that the tools at Faith Life really didn't work for our age group. They were too complex. They really, for us, they just never did what they claimed that they would do. And so we appreciate their efforts, and we certainly don't cast any stones, but we believe that we could do better now on our own. So we're constructing our own website, and we do our own live streaming and so on. And it looks like even we'll be saying goodbye to Proclaim, which was the church presentation software that we used when we were in the ballroom, and now we'll be using the same program that I'm using right now to do the to record this devotional, and it's also the program we use to do our live stream on Sundays. And so it's a very wonderful program, and suits our needs very well. So it that's going to be a very positive thing, and we're really delighted to have that service. A little update on as far as the live streaming and so on. You may not know it, but our cantata registered over 630 devices viewing the cantata, and we know that very seldom does one person access the live stream, and so it's just a blessing to be able to serve so many. And over this past year, very difficult year for everyone, we've had 10,970 new people access our live stream, our Sunday services, and altogether they accrued 154,538 minutes viewing the live services and the other things that we've registered online through YouTube. So even though this has been a real trial, it's resulted in, number one, our fellowship remaining the fellowship, a close knit group of believers that hang together and pray together in spite of the circumstances, and I think that's awesome. That's really wonderful. Now I want to read just that verse in Isaiah 9 that I was telling you about. And it's very familiar, and that passage, that verse says, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and of peace there will be no end on the throne of David and over his kingdom, to establish it and to uphold it with justice and with righteousness." And so we find that on Christmas cards. We find it in plays, and it's just an oft quoted verse. The context is not very often shared. The prophet Isaiah had just foretold of the destruction of the Assyrian Empire that was going to come in and carry away the northern part of the kingdom of Israel. And along with that, he's going to continue to foretell judgment, as then years later Babylon will come in to these ancient nations, large ancient nations. The Assyrians fell to the Babylonians, and after that, the Babylonians came in, and they defeated the southern kingdom, part of the kingdom of Israel, and carried them off captive to Babylon. And and so, right in the midst of these really dark prophecies, we find this wonderful, wonderful, hope-filled verse. And I want to bring that to your mind today, because there's a lot of things going on in the world today that might make us fearful or wonder about the future. We've got the political condition of our nation. We've got the political condition of Europe, not so good. The the political machinations of South America and uh, so on, all those countries down there, all the turmoil that they're having. There's a lot going on. And there, as a nation, we really are two large camps of different ways of looking at the problems of the nation and looking at what the solutions might be. And I expect that conflict to go on. I don't expect it to end with this election. I expect there to continue to be turmoil, and I expect there will be continue to be turmoil in Europe and in the Middle East. And we can look at all that and go, "Well, isn't this terrible?" But Isaiah prophesied to Israel, things are tough and they're going to get tougher. Uh, I'm going to bring, God is saying through Isaiah, you have rebelled against me, you've turned away from me, you worship false idols on the high places, on the hills and mountains in the area, and so I'm going to bring these judgments on you. But I want you to have hope because someday I'm going to sum all this up. And a child will be born on the earth, and he will have these wonderful names, Prince of Peace, and he will bring in a new era, a new time of peace on the earth, uh, and you'll be prepared for that. God says through Isaiah, by the experience of these judgments that I'm bringing upon you. And today we live in a world that by and large has turned its back on the existence of a creator God, and their idolization of their interpretation of what science is, their idolization of money and power and greed, and the ongoing plight of those at the upper end of the economic scale getting richer and richer, and those at the bottom scale getting poorer and poorer, and so there are really some pressures going on in the world, and so God is, I think, saying to us through Isaiah, yes, things are tough now, and if we look at the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel, we realize that things are going to get a lot tougher. But all that is going to prepare the world for the second coming of the Messiah, when the Lord Jesus will come, and he will not come as an infant child born with angels announcing his birth. He will come as a mighty king, and he will come with his army, and he will be coming to defeat the armies of mankind, the armies of Antichrist, and he's going to put an end to human history as we've known it on the earth. Now that can sound frightening and harrowing, but it's not really. It's the culmination of this verse 9 in Isaiah that we just read. It's the culmination of that prophecy that the Messiah has come and he's putting right all the ills of mankind, and there will be judgment for sure. But the outcome will be the millennial kingdom of Christ on the earth, and it will be a wonderful thing, and that will be a precursor, a harbinger of the wonder of eternity with the Lord for all those who truly believe. So let's not let our eyes get captured by the circumstances on the earth. That's always been a problem since Adam and Eve walked out of the garden. That's mankind has always been its own worst problem. That hasn't changed down through history, and it's not going to change until Christ comes and sets up his kingdom on the earth. So let's not get lost on those things. Kingdoms come and go, politicians come and go, viruses come and go. God remains, and there is no shadow of turning in him. He's always going to fulfill his word. And the Prince of Peace is sitting on his throne at the right hand of the Father in heaven right now, and someday he will stand up once again, and again, not to be born as a babe, but to come as a conquering king. And that's the God that you and I worship. That's who we turn to for peace and comfort, and not the affairs of the world, not what's going on the earth. So let's rejoice this Christmas season. Let's rejoice that baby was born at Christ's first advent, and let's rejoice that the second advent might soon be coming upon us. And yes, there might be difficult times between now and then, but God's grace never quits. God's grace is always sufficient, always there to help us in all the things that we need to do. So let's keep our eyes on Him, and let's put our arms around each other, pray for each other, lift each other up. Let's strengthen the legs of those who are weak. Let's lift up our brothers and sisters. Let's not quake at what's to come. Let's move forward as the victors that we really are in the Lord Jesus Christ. So God bless you, and we'll see you Sunday, and give you more information about the Christmas Eve service. So God bless you.